has slumped significantly on this. So the story on this bottom thing is gaining momentum in many for whatever reasons. But this story on degrowth in Europe, of course, it means a different thing. There's a degrowth movement. It's been on for many years. These guys are always demonstrating, and when there's international trade meetings, and then for them it is about the sustainability of the climate. The way countries, the way we're trying to grow as countries, it's depleting resources, it's creating environmental problems, climate issue, resources, global resources being affected, and so forth. For them, it means that, look, let us shrink the economies so that people live within certain life that does not result in wastage and inefficiencies. And what's happening in the materialistic sense in what's happening particularly in the rich countries, the rich getting richer and richer and richer, and the amount of resources and services and facilities used by the extremely rich, it is the main concern, I think, is in that movement, is that about that. But I think in our case, for a developing country, where people don't have access to basic services like water, like sanitation, like health, or even food. So the word, degrowth would have a negative connotation. It would mean, the rest of us have reached somewhere, and let's stop there. But this is this disparity is something strange, by the way. It's happening. It's all over the world. America, they're spending trillions of dollars, sending space rockets to Mars and everywhere. But within America, you'll find millions of people who are poor. If you read about them, you find millions, tens of millions of Americans who cannot put bread on the table, who are surviving on welfare, who are surviving on food kitchens, who are surviving on this and so forth. This inequality is because of these policies. This is the argument that IMF is raising now with UK, that these tax cuts will create more inequality and so forth, because you're allowing the rich who are making money not to pay the taxes, so it's so I think in my view, I think we have to the problem is not about the policy, the degrowth or whatever, but I think we have to be very careful that we don't deny those people who do not have anything the opportunity to realize that growth, because for many years now, 10 years in a row, President Uhuru has been telling us our country has been growing by 6 to 7%. The financiers last week was saying, look, we're very proud. We're living after having registered an average growth of 5.7 to 6% annually for 10 years. But we've grown the economy.
Governor said we don't need GDP.
But, and the governor said. So the issue is growth in which areas? Within the economy, they have different sectors. There's the elitist aspects of the sectors of the economy, like finance, like telecommunications, which are always growing. But there are those sectors of the economy, like agriculture, where 80% of the people are based, which are not doing very well. At best, they're doing 1 or 2% or zero sometimes. So I agree that we need to, the government probably through policy needs to check on some of the areas that do not add value but use a lot of resources. And this happens particularly in those developed countries. But in our rest of the country, where people still need to realize basic services, I think there's need for the government to still ensure that, because what is the growth is a measure of how much value and goods and services that have been produced.